NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race has officially concluded for Martinsville, and we see a lot of chaos and a lot of carnage, and Corey Heim continues his dominant season and picks up another win at Martinsville. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Martinsville Speedway, the Slim Jim 200. We had quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So, before the green flag drop in today's race, Clayton Green and Casey Mears had to go to the rear for unapproved adjustments. At the start of the race, you had Lane Riggs lead the field from the inside, with Gio Ruggiero on the outside, and Lane Riggs got a fantastic start and was able to clear for the race lead. The first caution of the race come out lap number 7. Andres Perez got turned by Matt Crafton after Connor Mosack tried to make a 3 wide going into turn number 1 or turn number 3. Andres got on the outside wall, got a ton of damage, and Matt Crafton tried to blame Andres for the incident, but to me, Matt Crafton was in the middle. Can't really fully blame Matt Crafton for that. To me, that's more on Connor Mosack for going up the track there. On the restart, you had Lane Riggs lead the field from the inside with Gio Ruggiero on the outside, and Lane Riggs got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the lead, and Lane Riggs started pulling away from the field at that point. And then the second caution of the race will come out lap number 22 for fluid on the track. Seemed like maybe Matt Mills leaking some fluid on the racetrack. That would bring out the caution at that point. During the yellow, Corey LaJoie, Jake Garcia, Nora Benning, Frankie Muniz all came down pit road. And then on the restart, you had Lane Riggs lead the field from the inside and Ty Majeski on the outside. And Lane Riggs had an okay restart, but then, unfortunately, as he got up to the gears, he missed a shift and would unfortunately cause a lot of big stack-ups happening down the front straightaway. Roger Kroof got a ton of damage. Daniel Hemmer got a ton of damage. Ben Rhodes got a bunch of damage. And many drivers had a ton of damage on their cars. This would hand the lead to Ty Majeski. And then on lap number 41, another incident would take place as Nora Benning, who was already a lap down at that point, would have contact from Brendan Butterbean Queen entering turn number 1 as he got sideways but saved it. Don't know why the yellow came out right there, but the caution would come out there. Norm, we love you, dude, but seriously, you're the slowest truck on the track. You probably shouldn't be in the way trying to go down the track. You had multiple lanes. You should have been up on the high side of the track. Norm came down the track, bringing out the caution. During the yellow, we saw some strategy. Ben Rhodes, Connor Jones, Daniel Hemmer, Chandler Smith, Connor Mosack, Matt Crafton, and Jake Garcia all came down pit road while the rest leaders stayed out. And then on the restart, you had Ty Majeski lead the field from the inside with Corey Heim on the outside, and Ty Majeski got a pretty good start and was able to clear for the lead. But then Corey Heim got a great run on Ty Majeski, made the move the inside, and he was able to take the race lead. He would start pulling away, and coming off the corner, Corey Heim would win stage number 1, followed by Ty Majeski, Grant Enfinger, Tyler Ankrum, and Tanner Gray. And then we saw some guys come down pit road under the caution, including Brent Cruz, Brendan Queen, Jack Wood, Dawson Sutton, Patrick Sarapoli, Justin Carroll, Casey Mears, Dawson Sutton. And then on the restart after over 10 laps, you had Corey Heim lead the field from the inside with Ty Majeski on the outside, and Corey Heim got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead. As the run continued on, Corey Heim continued pulling away, and then on lap number 73, another playoff contender would run into issues and problems, this time being Raja Karuf. Raja was battling Caden Honeycutt for around 10th position. Raja came in being the highest in points that could have made it to the championship 4. Unfortunately, Raja was fading back, had some damage from the earlier incident with Lane Riggs missing the shift, and Caden Honeycutt basically got into him. They had contact battling, and unfortunately going in turn number 1, Raja had to flat tire after contact, and it spun Raja up into the outside wall, bringing out the caution. His night would end with a truck destroyed. That would end his night, bringing out the yellow. To me, that's just a racing incident on the racetrack. That is the second time that Caden Honeycutt has done that. I hate that for Raja, though, because Raja had been doing what he can out there. It's not his fault he got damage on the truck initially, and I hate that for him. Again, I don't think Caden Honeycutt did that intentionally, and I don't think he would ever want to do something like that and take a competitor out of contention just to advance. But I hate that for Raja because Raja was in a pretty solid position to make it. Would have had a really good chance of getting in. Instead, Raja's night would end. He had a really good interview, a classy interview. Raja does it all the time. So unfortunate for Raja after being in a good position to potentially get through. During the yellow, some trucks came in. Corey LaJoie, Gio Ruggiero, Barely Curry, Chandler Smith, Connor Mosack. And then on the restart, you had Corey Heim lead the field from the inside with Ty Majeski on the outside, and Corey Heim got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead. Corey Heim would start pulling away from the field, got up to about a 1.2 second lead, and would come off the corner and win stage number 2, followed by Ty Majeski, Lane Riggs, Grant Enfinger, and Tanner Gray. And then, during the yellow, a lot of drivers would come down pit road, including Corey Heim, Ty Majeski, Lane Riggs, Grant Enfinger, Tanner Gray, Tyler Ankrum, Caden Honeycutt, Connor Jones, Ben Rhodes, Matt Crafton were among the leaders that came down pit road. All but a bunch of drivers stayed out, including Brent Cruz, I believe Gio Ruggiero, and even Daniel Hemrick all stayed out on the restart. And then coming to the restart, you have Brent Cruz leading the field from the inside with Gio Ruggiero on the outside, and Gio Ruggiero actually got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead. But Brent Cruz was closing in on Gio Ruggiero on older tires, and they battled for the lead for about 10 or 15 laps. Eventually, with 65 laps to go, Brent Cruz got the run on Gio Ruggiero and was able to take the race lead. As Brent Cruz started to pull away from Gio, the caution would come out with 61 laps to go when Alan Waller, a.k.a. AJ Waller, would unfortunately spin out in turn number 3. AJ Waller went back into the outside wall, just lost in the corner, got a ton of damage. His night would pretty much be over, bringing out the yellow. And then on the restart, you have Brent Cruz lead the field from the inside with Gio Ruggiero on the outside, and Brent Cruz got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead. He would start trying to pull away once again, but then a few laps later, on lap 155, another caution would come out, this time for Corey LaJoie. I don't know what Corey LaJoie was doing here, to be honest. LaJoie just completely sends it in the corner, takes out Tony Breidinger, and Patrick Staropoli, was an innocent bystander, had nowhere to go in this situation. Tough break for Tony, was battling for a top 20 at that point, and tough break for Patrick, who is having a decent night tonight. Tough break for all those guys. During the yellow, Gio Ruggiero, Grant Enfinger, Daniel Hemrick, Timmy Hill, and Patrick Staropoli would all come down pit road, and Daniel Hemrick's side would pretty much be over as he would go to the garage. And then on the restart, you have Brent Cruz lead the field from the inside with Chandler Swift on the outside, and Brent Cruz got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead, and Brent Cruz started checking out and pulling away at that point. And you're thinking, Brent Cruz is going to win this race. Not so fast. With 22 laps to go, another caution would come out. Connor Mosack would get dumped by Gio Ruggiero going turn number 3. Connor came down the track a little bit, and Gio just got into him a little bit and dumped Connor up in the outside wall. Connor was clearly not happy with Gio, and I probably wouldn't be surprised if they had a confrontation after the race. Connor been in the way quite a bit of the night, to be fair. Gio did have a faster truck. Tough break for Connor, though, who is having a pretty decent run. His night would pretty much come to an end. And then on the restart, you have Brent Cruz lead the field from the inside with Corey Heim on the outside. And we saw a really good battle up front for the lead between Brent Cruz and Corey Heim. And then on lap 187, another caution would come out once again, this time for Bailey Curry, who spun in turn number 3 and 4. Never got a replay exactly how Bailey Curry got turned. Thank you, Fox, for that. We'll talk about Fox later tonight. But Bailey Curry would get spun, bringing out the caution. And then on the restart, you had Corey Heim lead the field from the inside with Caden Honeycutt on the outside, and Corey Heim got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead, and he started checking out and pulling away. But with 6 laps to go, the final caution in the race to come out for Connor Jones, who got spun off turn number 2 after Ty Majeski got put in the outside wall thanks to Lane Riggs, and there was a lot of contact and a lot of carnage taking place behind. Connor Jones kind of got put up in the outside wall thanks to Ty Majeski, and he ends up spinning off turn number 2 and collects Dawson Sutton, Andres Perez, and Jake Garcia. Tough break for all those guys. Connor was actually maybe having his best truck series race he's ever put together. Yes, he pissed off Tyler Ankrum, but it is what it is at that point. His night would pretty much be over. And then on the restart, in the final one, you had Corey Heim lead the field from the inside with Caden Honeycutt on the outside, and Corey Heim got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead. As Corey Heim started taking off, a lot of chaos would take place, and Brent Cruz got under Caden Honeycutt trying to move to second position. On the white flag of the event, Caden Honeycutt would make the move on the inside of Brent Cruz and would move up to second position. There was a lot of chaos and a lot of carnage happening. You had Lane Riggs, who got into Brent Cruz coming to the checkered flag. There would be being and banging across the line, but that would be behind Corey Heim, as Corey Heim would come off the corner, pick up his 11th truck win of the season and his 22nd career Craftsman Truck Series win. While all the chaos is going on, Caden Honeycutt and Lane Riggs battle for the tiebreaker. Ty Majeski and, of course, Tyler Ankrum are both locked into the championship 4. And with the chaos at the end, it would be Caden Honeycutt making the championship 4 off a tiebreaker, thanks to Lane Riggs basically not getting, even though he got the fastest lap point, Caden Honeycutt had the better finish. He makes the championship 4. Before we talk about all the chaos, let's talk about the guy who won the race, Corey Heim. Corey Heim picks up his 11th win of the season. What a dominant night for Corey. I believe he led the most laps of this race tonight. He edges closer to reaching the most laps led ever in a single season in the 30 years of the Craftsman Truck Series. He's just had a phenomenal season so far. Well-deserving win, put together a great night. Gets redemption from the spring after he should have absolutely won this race in the spring. Great night for Corey Heim, a well-earned victory. I'm telling you what, if Corey Heim doesn't win the championship this year, it is absolutely robbed. He deserves a championship without question. I hope he wins this championship because he absolutely deserves it. Well-earned champion, well-earned win, well-deserved victory. Congratulations, Corey Heim, on picking up the win and picking up the victory here at the race tonight. Congratulations to him on getting it done tonight here at Martinsville. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the race results and give my score and thoughts on tonight's event. So Corey Heim picks up the win. Caden Honeycutt finishes second. Yes, he made that move on Roger Curve, and again, I don't think Caden did that intentionally, but I believe this is a career best finish for Caden Honeycutt. A great night for Caden, all things considered, ran top 5 and top 10 all night. Qualified up front, I believe almost led some laps at points tonight, so a really good run for Caden. He finishes second. Lane Riggs finishes third. Lane Riggs, who in my opinion should be competing for a championship, misses out due to tiebreaker. Lane had done a lot of good things in this round and deserved to be in there. If not for a missed shift, he had the best truck in my opinion, at least early in this race. And I think if not for that, I think he wins this race for sure. He had a fantastic truck. Nothing he can show for it. Again, he's been the only guy really all year to keep up with Corey Heim. And now he's not competing for a championship. I hate that for Lane because he deserves to be competing for a title this year. And instead of just going to maybe finish second or win the title this year, he's not going for the championship. So I hate that for Lane. His Mike pick coming in. He goes and has a great run, but his night comes to an end in third place. Brent Cruz finishes fourth. Another top 5 run for Brent. Brent, in my opinion, was in good position to win. If not for some of those cautions at the end, he gets himself a really good finish, in my opinion. He had a great night. Was in a position to win the race tonight. Had a phenomenal night. Ran top 5 and top 10 all night. Led the second most laps of this race. Put together another great run. Deserved the win tonight. Good night for Brent, though. He finished fourth. Corey LaJoie finished fifth. Yes, he caused the incident and carnage at the end, but gets a really strong top 5 finish. I think that's Corey's like 4th or 5th top 10 finish of the season. So say what you want to say about Corey LaJoie. He can at least race in a truck with Spire. Solid top 5 run. Good job for Corey LaJoie. Chandler Smith finished 6th. I thought Chandler was going to be a bigger factor tonight. He really never was a strong contender most of the night. He probably had about a 3rd or 4th place truck at best. Just didn't show the pace and speed that I thought he was going to show. He finishes 6th, does get a top 10. But to be honest, I did expect better than that. Ty Majeski finished 7th. Majeski had a good truck early, but it seemed like his brakes were fading. But good news for him, he'll be competing for a championship at Phoenix next week, where he's, of course, the defending champion, and probably will come in and steal the championship from Corey Heim, even though Ty Majeski really doesn't deserve the championship at this point. But he does finish 7th, a decent night for him, but he does, in my opinion, really deserve the title at this point. Tanner Gray finished 8th, a decent top 10 run for him. Shows some good pace and speed of points in the top 5 early in the event. Faded back at points, but he does get a top 10. Tyler Ingram finished 9th. Does enough. Seemed like that truck was really bad and dirty here, especially. Does get a top 10 run, so a decent finish. Qualified actually pretty well this time around, but finishes worse than where he qualifies, but he does get a top 10 and 9th. And Brendan Butterby Queen finished 10th. Outside the incident with Norm Benning, he had a pretty good night. One of the drivers I thought would be a factor tonight. Solid top 10 run, though. He'll be fun to watch in the Truck Series next year. Shows some good pace and speed. We'll get that experience to go in the Xfinity Series race tomorrow. He finished 10th. Solid night for Brennan. Gio Ruggiero finished 11th, showed some really good pace, was inside the top 10 early in this race, unfortunately faded back, and unfortunately had a bad pit strategy to cost him a shot at a great finish. He finished 11th. Grant Enfinger finished 12th. Unfortunately for Grant, he will not be competing for a championship at Phoenix. Grant had a decent season, but just unfortunate first 2 races of the round of 8 didn't go well for him. He finishes 12th. Jack Wood finished 13th. Ben Rhodes finished 14th. Patrick Sarapoli, after his incident, comes back and finishes in 15th. Decent recovery for him. Timmy Hill gets a top 20 and 16th. Not a bad run for him. Spencer Boyd finished 17th. Jake Garcia finished 18th. Did better than Haley Deegan's done in that truck, so that says a lot. Dawson Sutton finishes 19th. Justin Carroll gets top 20 and 20th place. Not a bad run for him. Showed pretty good pace and competitive speed at points tonight and does get a top 20. Bailey Curry, after his mechanical issues, finished 21st. Connor Jones finished 22nd. Kind of want to give Connor a shout out a little bit. I don't usually do that for Connor, but he actually had a pretty decent run going, ran top 10 in points. Probably put that together his best run until the end of the race, and I get that he had drivers upset with him, but I can't be really mad at him because he really didn't do a lot of massive things wrong tonight for once. He had a good run going, but his night came to a close. He finished 22nd. Frankie Muniz finished 23rd. Casey Mears finished 24th. Good to see Casey make his first truck start. Unfortunately, finishes 2 laps down, but he does get a top 25, so not a bad night, all things considered, for the standards of that team. Logan Bearden finished 25th. Tony Breidinger, after her damage, finished 26th. Matt Mills finished 27th. Andres Perez finished 28th. Matt Cratton finished 29th. Connor Mosack finished 30th. Dale Hemrick, who fell out of this race, finished 31st. The defending winner coming into the night's event. Tough break for Hemrick to his night come to an end. AJ Waller finished 32nd. Norm Benning finished 33rd. Roger Kurt finished 34th. And Clayton Green finished last in 35th. It didn't even make a lap because he had a massive crash during practice earlier today. So now, let's talk about the overall race as a whole and get my score and thoughts on tonight's race. When they were not wrecking tonight, which they wrecked, I believe, and had 11 or 12 cautions in this race tonight, I think the racing tonight was definitely fine. It isn't as good as I expect Martinsville to be when it comes to some of the contact and some of the racing we usually see, but I think there was some good racing throughout the field of points tonight. The Truck Series can sometimes be hit or miss at Martinsville. I think tonight was kind of at that point hit or miss, but I think there was some good racing for sure. But there were a lot of cautions in this race. Again, 11 or 12 yellows in a 200-lap race might be a little too much for my liking, to be honest. Having less than 20 laps in a green flag run on average and nearly running 70, 80 laps under caution. I think it was like 60 or 70 laps, which is still a lot, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, especially early in this race. But I think there was some good racing at points for sure. And I thought there were some good moments for sure. My score of tonight's Truck Series race, I'm going to give this race about a 7 to 8 out of 10. It was an alright race. Good stuff to happen tonight. At least the most deserving driver goes to victory lane. My score is going to be around a 7 to 8 out of 10. Before closing out, we once again have to talk about Fox. Good Lord Almighty, Fox once again was absolutely horrendous. Now Fox, I'll give them slight credit tonight. They did actually show the points. They've had a bad issue doing that throughout this year. I'll give Fox some credit at least for doing at least a good enough job tonight to at least listen to some of the criticism and show the points battle all night long. But good Lord, the TV direction tonight for Fox was absolutely a joke. They missed multiple incidents on the track. There was a time, I believe, where Brendan Butterbean Queen and Gio Ruggiero, Brent Cruz were having contact on the front straightaway. They never showed them having to come into the checker flag, or coming to the line at the end of stage number 1. Bailey Curry spins with 15 laps to go. They completely missed that. Meanwhile, they didn't even realize that they weren't even choosing at the beginning of stage number 2, I believe. They're acting like, oh, they're going to choose this lap on one of the restarts, I'm pretty sure. Where they clearly weren't choosing. The flag, they're not doing the one to go. The flag isn't doing. So what are we doing here? It's just frustrating watching the Fox coverage every single week. And then the lackadaisical coverage every time I watch. This is a cutoff race to a championship event. And why are we not at the track? I Googled before the race tonight. This track is about 135 miles, I believe, from Charlotte, if I'm not mistaken. That's 2 hours and 9 minutes. I did the Googling tonight. It's a little over 2 hours. You're telling me that the equipment, especially for the second to last race of the year for trucks, it can't be at the racetrack? Why are we not showing up to the racetrack this late in the year? And I've had a major issue with the CW doing this year too. Don't get it twisted. The Xfinity Series have had a ton of criticism for that as well, with all the good things they've done over there at CW. The coverage over there has been really good. But the truck coverage this year has just been a joke. I really hope someone like Amazon or even, hell, let the CW take care of the coverage at this point and let them run it. Because Jamie Little, not a good lead commentator. Regan Smith didn't sound amazing tonight. At least we didn't have to deal with Michael Waltrip. We'll have to deal a lot with Daniel Dye probably being in the Truck Series again next year most likely. But good Lord Almighty, the coverage tonight was horrendous and a joke. It just takes you out of watching the racing because it's just not fun coverage to watch. It's awful. And you see a lot of people going over to radio or muting the coverage because it was terrible tonight once again. An unacceptable coverage from Fox, in my opinion. So, that is going to be tonight's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race review from Martinsville. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Notifications on so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's get some more of that and comment your thoughts below on tonight's race. Your thoughts on tonight's race, let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and congratulate Corey Heim on picking up the win. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to be doing, of course, the Xfinity Series race review and Reactions Cup qualifying. We're also going to talk about the Sam Hunt Racing announcement tomorrow as well. Expecting a couple drivers to be announced for that tomorrow. Then, of course, on Sunday, we'll have the Star and Lennon video for the Cup race at Martinsville. Then the race review. And then, of course, we'll have potentially Shane Van Gisbergen video dropping. And then on Monday, we should have a NASCAR news video potentially dropping along, of course, with the championship picks, who I think is going to win the championship of the Truck Series on Monday. Then Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll have championship for that as well. And then we'll also have NASCAR news videos, among other things, dropping as well. We got content coming up, people like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Paul Wallace, Ross Chastain, Sheldon Creed, Sam Mayer, Frankie Muniz, Kyle Larson, Chase Light, Ryan Preece, Cletus Afal, Dodge Ram. We should have should be doing my rankings at the end of the year for the top races of the season, and of course start doing some rankings for 2026 relatively early. Might not do playoff predictions and all that stuff. I'd just have to wait and see. But there's a lot of great content dropping. Some people like Cletus Afal too in the near future. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode. I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.